When Roman Reigns returned at SummerSlam 2020, few could have predicted the absolute dominance that would follow. He arrived with a new attitude, a new look, and a new purpose. The big dog was gone. In his place stood the tribal chief, a man who was no longer looking for acceptance, but rather demanding acknowledgement. And acknowledged he was, from the moment he won the Universal Championship just a week after returning. That victory over Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman at Payback 2020 was the beginning of something special, something that had not been seen in WWE in decades. What made Roman Reigns' title reign unique was not just the length, but the way he carried himself throughout. From day one, he made it clear that this was not just about defending a championship, it was about setting a new standard. His presence on SmackDown elevated the entire show, making it must-see television week after week. Every challenger that stepped up wasn't just facing a champion. They were facing the head of the table, a man who had no intention of letting go of his seat. One of the first major challenges he faced came in the form of his own family. Jey Uso, someone who had always been in the tag team division, suddenly found himself in a main event storyline that would change his career forever. Their matches at Clash of Champions and Hell in a Cell were not just about a title. They were deeply personal battles that told an emotional story unlike anything seen before. Reigns didn't just want to beat Jey, he wanted to make him fall in line. When Jey finally acknowledged him, it marked the beginning of the Bloodline, a faction that would go on to define Reigns' reign and reshape WWE as a whole. From there, the dominance continued. Kevin Owens, a man who had built a reputation on never backing down, threw everything he had at Reigns in a series of brutal matches, including a last man standing match at the Royal Rumble 2021. But it didn't matter what Owens did. Reigns always found a way to win, sometimes on his own, sometimes with the assistance of Paul Heyman or Jey Uso. It was never about fairness. It was about maintaining his rule by any means necessary. Then came one of the biggest challenges of his reign, the triple threat match at WrestleMania 37 against Edge and Daniel Bryan. Many believed that this was the moment his reign would end. Two of the best in-ring performers of all time, both hungry to reclaim the spotlight, stood in his way. But in perhaps his most definitive victory, Reigns stacked them both, pinning them simultaneously, and sending a message to the entire WWE Universe. His reign was nowhere near over. From that moment, Reigns' grip on the WWE only grew stronger. His matches became less about competition and more about inevitability. He defeated Cesaro in a technical masterclass at WrestleMania Backlash, proving that he could go hold for hold with one of the best wrestlers in the world. He dismantled Rey Mysterio in a Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown, showing no mercy to the legendary High Flyer. Then, at Money in the Bank 2021, after yet another successful defense, John Cena returned, setting up one of the biggest main events of Reigns' reign. Cena versus Reigns at SummerSlam 2021 was a generational showdown, the face of the company for over a decade against the man who had now fully embraced that role. The promos were electric, with Cena questioning whether Reigns had what it took to carry WWE for years to come. But when the bell rang, it was clear. Reigns was in a league of his own. He defeated Cena clean in the middle of the ring, solidifying himself as the undisputed top guy. And just when it seemed like he had conquered everything, Brock Lesnar returned. The Lesnar rivalry would become one of the most defining aspects of Reigns' reign. Over the next year and a half, they would engage in multiple battles, each one bigger than the last. Their clash at Crown Jewel 2021 saw Reigns escape with the title thanks to the Usos. Their rematch at WrestleMania 38 was billed as the biggest match of all time, a unification bout for both the Universal and WWE Championships. Once again, Reigns proved he was the superior force, walking out as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. By this point, Reigns was more than just a champion. He was an institution. The Bloodline had grown into a dominant force, with the Usos capturing the tag team titles and Solo Sikoa eventually joining the ranks. But what made his reign truly special was the storytelling. The addition of Sami Zayn to the Bloodline added a new layer, creating one of the most compelling narratives in WWE history. Fans were invested in every segment, wondering whether Zayn would be fully accepted or eventually betrayed. The moment of truth came at the Royal Rumble 2023, when Zayn finally turned on Reigns, leading to one of the loudest crowd reactions in modern WWE history. Reigns vs. Zayn at Elimination Chamber. 2023 was one of the most emotionally charged matches of his reign. In Zayn's hometown of Montreal, the atmosphere was electric. Many believed, even for just a moment, that Zayn would pull off the impossible. But in the end, Reigns remained unbeatable, crushing the hopes of an entire city. It was moments like this that defined his reign, not just the victories, but the emotions that came with them. As WrestleMania 39 approached, Cody Rhodes emerged as the next major challenger. The story of Cody returning to WWE to finish his father's dream added another layer of drama. The build-up was near perfect, and many thought this would be the moment Reigns finally lost the title. But once again, he proved everyone wrong. With interference from Solo Sikoa, he retained his championship, leaving fans stunned. The dominance continued throughout 2023, with Reigns defeating challengers like Jey Uso in tribal combat at SummerSlam. But cracks were beginning to show. The Usos had turned against him. Solo Sikoa was growing more unpredictable. And by the time WrestleMania 40 arrived, the world knew his reign was in jeopardy. Cody Rhodes, now more determined than ever, was given one final shot at the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. This time, there was no escape for Reigns. The Bloodline was crumbling, and after an epic battle, Cody finally did what no one else could. He ended the greatest title reign of the modern era. 1,316 days. That's how long Roman Reigns sat at the head of the table. That's how long he ruled WWE with an iron fist. It was a reign that wasn't just about numbers. It was about moments. The betrayals, the victories, the heartbreaks, the dominance, every piece of it made for a historic, unforgettable run. Looking back, there may never be another reign like it. Reigns redefined what it meant to be a champion. He made the title feel prestigious. He made every match feel like an event. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was the story. And as he finally walked away from the ring without his championship, the WWE Universe knew they had witnessed something truly special. The greatest 1,316 days in WWE history. As Roman Reigns' historic reign nears its conclusion or evolution into a new era, speculation about his future runs rampant. With 1,316 days of dominance behind him, the WWE Universe is left wondering what comes next for the Tribal Chief. Will he continue his reign of terror, or will he transition into a different role that cements his legacy even further? The next chapter for Roman Reigns could involve fresh rivalries, dramatic character shifts, and significant implications for the entire WWE landscape. One of the most immediate questions surrounding Roman Reigns is whether he will extend his reign beyond WrestleMania, or if WWE is preparing for a title change. With challengers like Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and even a potential surprise return from someone like The Rock or John Cena, the stakes have never been higher. If Reigns retains the undisputed WWE Universal Championship past another WrestleMania, it would solidify his dominance as potentially the greatest world champion of the modern era. However, if WWE is ready to crown a new champion, the transition must be carefully executed to ensure Reigns remains relevant and maintains his aura of supremacy. A possible scenario involves Roman Reigns taking a temporary break from full-time competition after finally losing his title. A well-earned hiatus could add to his mystique, making his eventual return feel monumental. During this time, WWE could elevate other stars while keeping Reigns as a looming presence, potentially returning at a major event like SummerSlam or Survivor Series to reclaim his throne or embark on a different storyline. Another angle that could shape Reigns' future is the evolution of the Bloodline. With his cousins, the Usos, already experiencing shifts in their alignment, and Solo Sikoa's potential to emerge as a breakout star, Roman's role within his own faction could change. A betrayal within the Bloodline, possibly by Solo or even Paul Heyman, would create one of WWE's most explosive storylines. Reigns being dethroned by an internal mutiny would not only add a dramatic twist, but also freshen up the faction's direction for the foreseeable future. While Roman Reigns' future remains uncertain, one thing is clear: his impact on WWE is far from over. Whether he continues his reign, transitions into a new character arc, or eventually steps away to explore other opportunities, his legacy as one of the greatest champions in history is already secured. The next few years will determine whether his dominance continues or if WWE enters a new era. But either way, the presence of Roman Reigns will be felt across the industry for a long time to come.